Hey guys, welcome back to Rocking the Spectrum. Today I have a very exciting video for you guys. I asked you guys on Instagram and on YouTube community to ask us questions. Anything that you guys may have questions on regarding Christian being nonverbal and about communication. And you guys came through. We have a few questions from you guys that we want to go through, and we'll just tell you guys a little bit about Christian and how we communicate and just all things about autism nonverbal, because that's a really big thing in our life, Christian being nonverbal. So I thought we would talk to you guys about it, because I feel like we don't really we haven't made a proper sit down video on it in a while. So I thought it was a good idea. So I have the questions here. I have my husband here. We're ready.
All right, if you guys could please comment down below if you guys have any questions, or please give us a like and hit the bell for the notification, and we'll do our best to answer all your questions.
Before we get started on the questions that you guys asked us, I wanted to give you guys his backstory. Christian is 5 years old. He is on the autism spectrum. He was diagnosed with mild to severe autism per the doctor's diagnosis. He is completely nonverbal, so what that means is he has no words, and currently he has no sound approximation, so like ma, ba, da, like he doesn't have those sounds. We currently are using or attempting to use sign language with him, as well as the PECS communication device. That is what we've been trying, and I'll talk about that more later in this video, but I thought I would give you that little backstory. So he's 5 and he is completely nonverbal. Question I got on Instagram is, did he ever say any words? Thank you for the question, and this leads us to the perfect little backstory of Christian. So did he ever have any words? Babe, do you remember him ever having any words?
No, he didn't have any words, but there was this one time when when he was getting evaluated, they were trying to make him repeat what the guy was saying, and the guy said "ba," and that's pretty much the only time I ever heard it.
And Christian said "ba." We remember him saying "ba," like it was like a question, and we were like, "Whoa!"
He's gonna talk.
Yeah, we were like, "Whoa!" We remember we were really excited, but before that, I don't ever remember him saying "mom" or like having any kind of like. He had sounds. When we say that he's nonverbal, one of the big misconceptions is that people think that he's mute or that he doesn't make any sounds. He's completely quiet, and that's not true. He laughs, he makes sounds. Sometimes he makes more sounds than other times, but he does have sounds. He does laugh. He has his little like personality even with those sounds. But to answer the question, he's never had words. He's had instances that don't repeat itself, like ball that I remember. Bread, remember there's a video where we're trying to make him say bread. We wait like for 5 minutes and he finally does like bread. We got super excited. He's imitated no. Remember when he said no at Disneyland, where we thought he said no? It was like no.
Yeah, so he's imitated a few words here and there, but it's not consistent.
And remember, we thought that he said "I love you" in the video.
It did sound like
it sounds like his pitch goes "I love you,"
Moving on to the next question, is there a type of AAC being used? Yes, we are using a AAC application, which is installed in his iPad, and he uses it on a daily basis. And that's actually what they've been working on, less sign language, because it seems to be confusing him, and focusing more with the PEG system.
So to give more on that, we've always struggled to find a way for him to communicate properly. We understand what he needs and feel like he still pulls us, or he tries to point at things, but we wanted a way to communicate. It's kind of hard because Christian has a hard time with imitation, following like direction. I talked to speech today, and we think it's more like just with him like not focusing enough, not being motivated enough to want to look at it and clearly see what we're talking about. So I think it's going into another question, asking us, another question that leads into this or goes with this is, does sign language work for your son? So it does work. We've had success with some signs, but the problem with Christian is he looks for I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but he kind of just goes through things that may work for him. So for PECS, if he has choices, he won't necessarily look for the one that he really wants unless it's really, really reinforcing. So he just knows he needs to point, and he'll choose whichever is there. So he won't even really glance, or if he glances, he'll do and he'll be satisfied with whatever you give him. So if it's 2 toys and he likes those 2 toys well enough, if he chooses this one, but he really kind of wanted this one, he'll be okay with the one on the right. So that's hard, because how do you teach, I didn't really want that one. I could give him a card and he'll be like, okay, you know, like, and so start playing with it. So that's been hard. And sign language, kind of the same thing goes. So he knows eat, he knows more, he knows all done. We were trying to show him help. The problem with those is that he goes through a rotation without really thinking about it. He just does eat when he wants, let's say, to go outside. He does more when he's done with the potty. He just goes through a rotation, and it's kind of like because he knows that one of these is going to get him whatever he wants. He's not focusing and putting a lot of effort into them. So yes, they work, and he has them down, but he doesn't use them properly. So we're trying to find a way to get him to use a device or a form of communication properly. With the PECs, I feel like that's probably like the best one to use long term because people understand pictures and they understand like the pictures are going to speak. But we like to be honest with you, and 100%, we haven't put our 100% into it. With potty training now, we're putting our 100%. Were we putting 100% like last year? Probably not. We were like still with diapers. But it's like a cycle. I feel like when you're ready, when life is ready, it kind of happens. At this point, I want to be like, okay, we have to really try. Like we have to put our 100% and use the PECs whenever he wants something instead of just getting up, having that ready with us, or having it where he can get it, because ABA does it and he will grab the iPad and bring it to them, and he'll use them more because they are 100%. So I want to really focus on the PECs and be committed and like take it with us. And it is his voice. I forgot who told me, but somebody said it's cruel to not give him his voice, you know? So it is cruel for us to not take it to the grocery store with us. It is messed up to not have it where he is or where he's available, because that's why he's pulling us. It's his only way, and we're just not seeing it as his voice.
I never saw it like that until right now that you're saying it.
Somebody told me, I think it was at work, because I was grabbing, we were doing something with the iPad, and this one person told me, you know, like, you have to think of it as that's their voice and you're taking away their voice because you don't have it with them, or they want to do this and you're like, oh, stop pointing at that. No, that's their voice and you need to let them speak, you know. You could tell them, no, not right now, but you need to give them their voice. And it kind of stuck, you know, so that makes sense. So we're really gonna, moving forward, we're pushing PECs and getting away from signs. So if he signs more, we're gonna give him the option of like, what do you want more of? Because more is kind of a tricky thing. More what? Help with what? You know, like eat what? You need to tell us like what it is. Yeah. Okay, next question.
All these questions are hard.
Does he babble, and how is his receptive language? So
there was something different about him.
What?
His big cheeks.
His earlobes?
Yeah.
I would say
super big cheeks. You should put a picture in there so you can see.
I would say he had like sounds. I mean, I guess you could call sounds babbling, right?
There'll be times when we'll just be watching a movie or we're getting ready to go to bed, and all you hear is and we're like, what happened? Is he okay? And then he would go over and he looks at us and like, what happened?
Yeah, or then I'll be like half asleep, and I've told my husband so many times, like, I swear he said something, because I'll be half asleep and then he'll be like, you know, like, what? And then I look up and it's like he didn't do anything. So, but I've heard him.
It sounds like he's saying something, and she'll ask me, "Did you hear that?" Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, or he does something like, you know, that's kind of a stim. But there are things that sound like a babble, but I guess other people wouldn't categorize it as a babble.
There's times when he does it more than other times. There was times when he was even doing the Sometimes he does it more than others.
And we would say, we had a moment where we said, I feel like when he's more babbly, he's more happy. You know?
Yeah.
Like when he's running back, there was a time when he had growing pains, he wasn't running back and forth, probably because of pain. He wasn't expressing like himself in like sounds or even stimming with sounds. He was just very quiet. So Christian loves Just Dance. He loves the motorcycle animals.
Just Dance,
yeah.
The game. That's what the game is called.
I put it on the PECs and we have him choose, and he would choose, and he loves dancing to it. Like he just starts like going up and down, and he starts running, and we heard a bunch of sounds when he was doing that, so you could tell that he's happy. So
yeah, he loves music.
Yeah. And to answer the how's his receptive language, I feel like it's gotten a lot better, right? Like he responds better to his name, I feel like. Still, you know, touch and go, but he responds better to his name. He responds better when we tell him stop. He responds better when we yell from across the house. He responds to like pick up something.
Yeah. And now it's pretty, I would want to say stage 2, where now we're asking him to do things and he's following instructions. Mm-hmm. Christian, go to the restroom. Mm-hmm. When we say Christian, go potty, he does it on his own. Christian, grab your shoes. Christian, take off your shoes. All these things are starting to...
Yeah, and it's still sometimes like if we tell him to take off his shoes, like he'll try to do something else, but he listens. We just need to work on the paying attention to what we're saying.
And
so
this is another one, and this one's I got it down on my own, so I'm really proud. When we get out the shower, I blow my nose, and I remember there was a time when we were asking Christian, do this, or Christian, raise your hands, and he would, when he heard the word do this, he knew that it was something that he had to mimic. I remember getting out the restroom, and I was blowing my nose, and I just asked him, Christian, do this, and then he looked at me, and I put the toilet paper up to his nose, and he started just blowing onto the toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he did it once. It was subtle, but I asked him to do it again, and I remember someone said that they don't get it down until they do it 3 times. So I pushed for that third one, and on that third one, he went. And I was like, whoa! And every time we get out the restroom, I always try to push for that.
Paying attention, receptive language, understanding.
Yeah, and it's just small things like that that are very meaningful, because I know he's understanding, and I could kind of see a little bit.
It's
like he's letting me a little bit into his way of thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so his receptive is getting a lot better for sure. I think it comes with age too. A lot of things, it's like so consistent that we are, but also like just age, you know, like growing up, understanding a little bit more, you know, little by little. How do you handle his meltdowns? Sometimes my son has them so bad, I don't know what to do. What did you say he's had meltdowns?
He's had some, but it's because of pain.
Yeah, so I would say meltdowns, because he is nonverbal, I would say it's because of communication, right?
Yeah.
And how would you handle them? So the only time that I can remember having like a full-on meltdown, not at home, like what do I do, was in public was the time that I mentioned. I don't know if you saw the video, where he had growing pain, and I thought that he needed to use the restroom because he was doing kind of like a moving kind of thing, kind of like a sign like I'm restless. So I was like, okay, I'll take him to the restroom. And getting down, he was already like acting funny. So I was like, oh, you know, like what do I do? So I took him to the restroom, and long story short, he like had a full-on meltdown where he didn't want me to hold him, but wanted me to hold him. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. He was crying uncontrollably. He was kicking. He was trying to grab into anything. But it's a meltdown because he can't control his body, and he doesn't have any way of telling me like what's happening. You know, I could ask him, Christian, what's going on? What happened? Where does it hurt? And he can't tell me. He's just like clinging onto me as best as he can, trying to get pressure, and I'm not fulfilling his need. So I felt helpless, and I feel like I didn't respond the way that I wish I would have, but there's nothing that I can do. So when you ask me like how to respond, it's really hard to answer. Even for Hugo, like when you got out there and you saw him, you know, like he was strong, so he could hold him the way that he wanted. He was like clinging onto you, right? But first thing that I would do is get out of the situation. Like if it's in a public place, I would try to get away from that area. I would try to find a comforting thing, whether it's like what would be reinforcing? It could be in a blanket.
Yeah, and another thing, this just came to mind when he used to cry in the middle of the night, hysterically.
Yeah.
We would put lullabies, and that would actually calm him down a little bit. You know?
But the thing about it is, you kind of just have to. I think you have to give them their space, because no matter what you try to do, there's literally nothing that you can do until they kind of calm themselves, because they're in their own space right now, whether it's because of pain or something that triggered it, like a touch or something like that. You need to give them the space enough where they're protected and that they know you're there. So maybe like softly being like, you know, I know that you're going through something right now. Let me know when you're ready, or if you need anything. Just like letting them know that you're there. I hear that's very comforting, because even touch sometimes. Christian, he wanted a touch, but he couldn't handle the touch, right? He's like, oh no, they're recording. Yeah, so just maybe know that it's not intentional. Like if it's the tantrum, that's intentional. If they stop crying when you give them something, that's a tantrum. If they can't stop crying, if they're like trying to control it but they can't, that's a meltdown. Their body is literally like on shutdown mode, and they just need that space. I feel like you can't help them until they kind of like calm. They calm.
That's
themselves.
probably the worst feeling as a parent, knowing that they're hurting or something's wrong, and there's just nothing we could really do.
Something overwhelmed them to the point that they
let them know that we're there.
Yeah, just let them know that you're there. Maybe like if you know that something comforts them, put it near them. Whenever they're ready, they can grab onto the blanket, grab onto the bear, whatever it is. Don't push it, but let them know that you're there. I would say. I'm sorry, I don't have a great answer, because we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I mean, as long as they're not hurting themselves, it should be fine. Yeah.
All right, next question. I think it's a good question, honestly. I want to hear your input. So my son's dad says teaching my son sign language will prevent him from talking again. Is that true?
No, I do not think it's true.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And what I've been told by speech and by ABA therapy is that it's kind of the same thing. Like, you will not take away like them talking, because if you think about it, it's hard to go find the PEC board or the PEC book or the PEC device, find the picture that you want, point to the picture, and then show it to mom or dad versus just saying it. So I think you could do a combination of both. I've worked with kids where we do sounds, and they have sounds and they're working towards building their language and they're building it. And then they also have a PEC device which helps them when they can't find the word or when they haven't learned it yet, they have that there, you know. So it's perfect because that takes away the behaviors of not feeling like you're being heard, and it's also at the same time you can still work on trying to build that language, you know.
Yeah. My input on it would be that I don't think that they would not talk. Reason being is because language is everywhere, and you hear it every day, radio, people speaking. So I think it's kind of hard to not tune into it.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually with time, hopefully they get
if it can, I don't think you'll prevent it from coming out, because if you're super excited and you're hearing your favorite song, you're gonna, you know, if you can, you'll start trying to hum it, and if you're humming, you're gonna try to say that first sound. You're gonna slowly build your language. But I will say that I remember you and I did have that question when we first got the diagnosis, like, and they were talking to us about using pictures and things like that. Like, will that prevent him from using his words, right?
Yeah.
You did think that, and I understand where your son's father comes with that connection. I think most of us do come to think that, but no, it only helps. It'll only help where he can't use certain words or he's not there yet. He'll eventually maybe get there, but he now has a voice where he won't whine about you not understanding that he wants this, you know. He won't cry about this because now he has this tool to talk.
It could also be something that could make it easier for him with using a combination of both.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just getting used to speaking, and he has basic words like yes, no,
or even just the sounds.
And then he throws in some sign language as well.
Yeah, everything helps. Communication is just, think about communication, not like necessarily talking, but communicating. How can I get my son to communicate? So even if you want to use a picture that's just apple and you say point to apple and he does it, you can say good job, and then you could work on the you know, at the same time. You can connect everything you can connect. If you can have more than one way to communicate, even better.
Let me throw a question in there. How would you go about with a kid that's maybe 10, 12 years old and he still doesn't have all those sounds that you're looking for, and he's only using sign language? Would you still teach him the same way as you would like a 5-year-old?
No, because just because you don't have the language doesn't mean that you're mentally at the capability of a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? So if you are nonverbal, but you can still like understand math, understand that you want a backpack, understand that you're hungry, you just don't have the way of saying it. So it all depends on where you are at that, like, developmentally. Not communication wise, developmentally.
Okay.
Yeah, so Christian right now, he's 5, right? But he technically would be at a level of probably like a preschooler, because he doesn't know his colors, he doesn't know his shape. So I'm not gonna give him a lesson in like a kindergarten book. I would give him a lesson probably in the pre-K, because he's, you know, developmentally there. So that's why it's all about where you are developmentally, you know. We want to give you something to push you, but we don't want to give you something that's overwhelming. Yeah. But language-wise, that's one of the big misconceptions, and that's a perfect question, because just because you hear the person's not talking, or maybe talking but not getting it out correctly, like maybe you're not understanding that person, doesn't mean that they don't know what they're saying, you know. That doesn't mean that they are not 100% there, you know. So another question is, has having more communication skills help with the potty training? Example, AAC or signing?
Yeah, it's definitely helped him out. Now, It's very challenging. To be honest, I don't even know how we got there.
What did we do?
But we got there. I'm trying to think back to like what did we do? But we tried so many things.
No, I think it's been like just a combination. We keep saying it, but it's a combination of, I think, time, honestly. And with time, us repeating like Christian, go potty, Christian, go potty. It's like go potty. Oh, okay, let me go potty. Like, and then it's the independence of himself now understanding how you were saying, now understanding that he needs to go pee.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I will say is, I think it might be sensory, or I don't know why, because he will have like 0 accidents all day pretty much. But number 2, bowel movements, he just won't go. Like sometimes
he does it.
Maybe like a 10%.
No, I want to say he's 50.
I get at least 1 sometimes accidents of bowel, and I don't know if it because he feels it. I know he feels it. Why does he want to go in his underwear?
Let's say from like throughout the day he goes twice. He'll do one in the toilet and one on himself.
Like an ABA will be like, oh, we took him to the toilet, And it's because as a parent, I think you guys know, like, we can't be with him 24/7. We don't have eyes on him like an RBT would, because that's your job and you're with him like the whole time, So for us to catch him all the time is hard, but I wonder why he doesn't go every time like he does with the potty.
Yeah, there's been times that he goes independently.
Number two,
mm-hmm. And when that happens, bring out the candy.
Bring the candy.
Yeah.
Good job, please.
Yeah. So we make sure we let him know that what he's doing, taking care of business, is the right thing, and we reward him.
And I've had questions, just talking a little bit about potty training, about there's been instances where I guess other kiddos will randomly take off their underwear and be like commando, like the parents will find them, like bottoms down naked. And I was thinking like, oh, like just take them to the restroom would be like my response, like every time you see your child's naked, just take them to the restroom. But it's funny because Christian does that now, right? More than ever. Like I'll text Hugo pictures of the underwear. Like it took me 5 minutes to find his underwear this time, or like I just found him butt naked sitting on the floor. And it's hard because he kind of just does it. Why do you think he does it now?
I don't know. It's just
sensory.
Yeah, it's probably just a sensory thing. I did notice that he does it when he's only on underwear.
Oh,
but
more.
If you have shorts and underwear, it's a little harder for him to do it.
True.
So he'll pull everything back up. So to kind of like work on it ourselves, I want to say let's make sure we put shorts on him.
Yeah, that would be a good tip to the one comment that I got about how to work on that. He's right, like maybe put something that's a little harder to take off, which we want them to be comfy and we want him to have access to like Haiti was like, just lock the door, Mom. I'm like, no, he needs access, Yeah. So just really quickly, maybe try putting him in like shorts. So another question that we got was, what are all the different signs he can do, and was it hard to teach him them? Also, is it hard to get him to eat at the table? My kids hate eating at the table, but they say I need to. So it was hard to teach him because it is hard for him to imitate. So when we would do this, it would take forever for him to like copy us. So every kid is different. So some kids they don't really have trouble with imitating. After like 4 times they got it. So just keep repeating until it sticks. With Christian, he has those 4 that he uses on and off, just not the way that he should, you could say. With eating at the table, Christian likes to get up and roam around and then come back, but we don't allow it. Especially Hugo, he's a little more strict. Like, no, you have to sit down. Sometimes Christian will get away from me. You just have to continue to be on it. Like don't let him get away. And if he does get away, get up and get him back down and say you need to eat.
Yeah.
Or if he is gonna do that, you need to tell him like, hey, are you all done? And if he says he's done, then take the plate and he's done. Like don't let him come back and forth.
What works for me is I know he's never going to be at the table on his own eating it until he finishes it. So what I do is I have to sit right next to him, and when I see that his foot's starting to slip out the chair, I'll just be like, Christian.
Or like he starts doing this little thing.
You gotta sit right.
And he's like,
or for that one, I always use Spanish.
Siéntate bien.
Christian, siéntate bien, and he'll,
I don't think he understands it, right?
Yeah, which is crazy that he understands Spanish and English. He's
nonverbal, but he's bilingual.
Yeah, that is funny.
He literally he understands more like the strict tone in Spanish.
Yeah. So he knows he knows when he's doing it, when he's not supposed to be doing something. Like I said, I just sit next to him, and as soon as I see him trying to get out the chair, I just be like, and then he'll just correct himself.
So I would say definitely don't let your kiddo be away from the table when it's dinner time. If they're like adamant, like no, I want to go, then just make sure you say, so you're done. We're no more eating. Once you get up, you're done. And follow through. Put that plate on top of whatever, so they don't have access to it. And if they're hungry again, then you gotta sit down. If you're hungry, you're gonna sit at the table. It is really important for sure for them to either communicate that they're done and they don't want to eat anymore, and you can let them go, or you better sit down.
Yeah. Something that I always like to do with him as well. This is something different out of the question. I like to he's used to eating cereal every night, and I like to pour the bowl of cereal and just have him carry it to the table. I think that's the cutest thing. Because I just see his little shoulders like, oh, I don't want to spill it.
But that helped because I've left stuff like soup in the counter, and I go to the table and I turn around and it's already with me, and I'm like,
how did it get there?
And it's because Hugo taught him, and he just sees little like.
It's just little things that he does. It's super cute. It's super cute. And I don't even think of it like, oh, extra work. I see it more like, I want you to get to that next level.
Well, that's awesome because I'm sure you guys can tell, he gives Christian more independence, and I'm a little more like, but he gives him that room to grow, and he is growing because of you. I think, equal parts. I try to work on communication. You do more independence. We try to balance out. Another, not question about communication, but another question is about the weighted blanket. Is it hot? I know it's heavy, but it also looks thick, so I was wondering if it would make my son sweat during the night. It can, I'm sure. The weighted blanket.
Weighted blanket, yeah.
It's not like a comforter where it's like full on, like, oh, it's gonna be like for winter, but it's also not. It has a weighted, it's weighted, so it can be a little warm.
The one that we got, it's this material. It's like a silk material. It's very fresh.
Breathable.
It's breathable. It's really good. We highly recommend it. It's called Dozeology. If you didn't get a chance to view the last video, we'll still put the link down below.
Yeah, I think that one's really good. One of the better ones, I think, for summer or winter. For Christian and Haiti, I like to put it on their feet just to have the pressure on it, not necessarily like for as a comforter or anything, just like the pressure. But during summer, I think anything is gonna get a little hot unless it's like legit just like a fitted sheet or something like that. But it is good, and I know Haiti loves it. She loves it.
Yeah. We actually got lucky with this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you, Dozeology.
All right, so those are all the questions. Anything you want to add about having a nonverbal son? You want to go first, or me?
Anything I want to add? It's just, there's so much that I would want to say, but I don't even know how to get it out. Every
accomplishment
is like, I feel so proud of him, even if he's not speaking, So with me, even if he never finds his voice, I mean, it does suck, but it's not the end of the world.
But I would see it as he'll find his voice in a different way. He'll
Exactly.
never not have a way to communicate.
Yeah, he will always have a way to communicate. Is his life going to be a little harder if he can't find his voice? Yes, but we are in 2019, and there's many ways that he'd be able to communicate. It's not the end of the world for him, Is it, like I said, challenging? Yeah.
What I would say, I would tell new parents, like, I hope somebody out there finds our video, maybe this video, that has a kiddo that you're maybe wondering, like, is he going to be nonverbal? What happens at this point? Like, my son is 3. Will he never talk? I want to tell you, as a mom, that if you watch our old videos, as a mom that broke down talking about, like, if I'll ever hear my son's voice, it gets better, and you will not, this is your life, you love your life, you live your life. We don't live every day thinking like we're never gonna hear our son say mom or dad. Like, do we have moments where we kind of like are like, oh, maybe Christian would be doing this right now, maybe Christian would be saying this? Yeah, but it doesn't bring us down completely. Like, we'll have an instance of sadness, and then you move on. Like, all I want from my son is happiness, and when you see him happy, like, you just try to find a way to make his life better. So I hope that one day Christian will find words, but if he doesn't, we'll always be here helping him find a way to communicate. That's really all you need to hope for your kid's future, is the easiest life that you can give them, and happiness.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
So I hope you guys found this video useful. I hope we answered your questions. If you have any more questions, you can always leave them down below. Having a nonverbal son is not the end of the world. It's honestly a blessing compared to any other terminal illness. Like when you talk about like, oh, you know, like my son has autism, like don't pity us because it's a different life, but it's still a beautiful life, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so everything that we say, we mean it from the bottom of our hearts. If we said something to offend someone,
What did I say? I'm just kidding.
no, we didn't say nothing bad. Huh?
I mean, we want this channel to be as real and positive. Like we don't pretend to be happy. Like we don't pretend to be positive. We really try to live a positive, happy life. And what you see is literally our life. Like if we saw us at Target, you would see us being like this, you know?
Yeah.
So
you know what I have, moving on, sorry. What I have noticed is the subscribers that we have, people that are commenting on a daily basis. They're commenting on almost every video. Thank you guys. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the questions.
Thanks for the love and support.
But I want to see all those shy guys, people that are out there. How about a like or just
let us know down below. I never comment.
Yeah,
or I watch you guys.
Or let us know where you're watching from. We want to hear from you guys. We're all here together. Like we said before,
we're a community. That's what we're trying to say.
We're here.
We're fam.
It's like we're a tree with branches, you know, and we're all living on a different branch.
That's cool, babe. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next vlog.
Thank you for watching The Spectrum.
Peace out.
Well, sorry.
Ah!
Thank you for watching Rocking the Spectrum.
Peace out.